Hi, friends. Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. We are going to do a read aloud today about the book Corduroy. This is a classic. My mom used to read this to me all the time whenever I was a kid. As you read, I want you to think about what are some character traits that describe Corduroy, our main character, and where does the story take place? Remember, setting is when and where. So we have our front cover, our spine, and our back cover. The name of this page is called the title page. It looks like our author and our illustrator is the same person, and it is Dawn Freeman. We always get author and illustrator mixed up, but a way that we can remember it is the author writes the words. The author writes the words. Hi-ho, did you know? The author writes the words. The illustrator draws the pictures. The illustrator draws the pictures. Hi-ho, did you know? The illustrator draws the pictures. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. I actually read this last night to Ezra, and I thought, oh, this is a perfect book to look at character traits for. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight, I'll go see if I can find it." So we already know that Corduroy longs for a friend, for somebody to take him home and love him, and now he's going on an adventure to see if he can find his button. Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and he began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Think about, where is Corduroy? What is the setting of this story? Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator and up he went. Could this be a mountain, he wondered? I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there before his eyes was a most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. This must be a palace, Corduroy gasped. I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace. But think, is he really in a palace? Think about where he really is. He wandered around admiring the furniture. This must be a bed, he said. I've always wanted to sleep in a bed. And up he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something small and round. Why, here's my button, he cried. And he tried to pick it up, but like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both paws until pop! Off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled. Bang! Into a large floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. The word bang is called onomatopoeia, meaning that the word says the actual sound that it makes. So some other examples of onomatopoeia would be like boom or clack. They're usually in italics as you read. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. That night, Watchman was going around and making his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. "Now, who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all, and there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. "Hello?" he said. "How did you get upstairs?" "You" is in italics, so I know to read this as "How did you get upstairs?" versus "How did you get upstairs?" It tells me to put emphasis on that word. The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and he carried him down the escalator. And he set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning. And there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he had seen only the day before. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said that I could bring you home." Think about, how does Corduroy feel right now? This is what he's always wanted. Shall I put him in a box for you?" the saleslady asked. "Oh, no, thank you," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. Why do you think she didn't want him in a box? Think about that. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight to her own room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed, just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like that enormous palace in the department store. "This must be home," he said. "I know I've always wanted a home." See how it says that it has "no" in italics? I know to read it that way. I know I've always wanted a home. That tells me to put emphasis on the word "no." Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you the way you are," she said, "but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and gave him a big hug.